Hello, this is Dave Stender. I'm a swine specialist for Iowa State University Extension. Today I'd like to talk about records. Successful operations have records and use records to make decisions. Over the years, I've helped farmers evaluate purchase technology. And some basic records can go a long ways to help you decide what's good and what's not so good for your operation. Those that use records successfully are able to determine alternative management solutions to solve root problems instead of simply purchasing Band-Aid, what I call Band-Aid-like tools. A lot of times, good ideas come from somebody else in the group keeping records. For example, if you have a herd health issue, it's easy to look for some magic bullet health product that treat the symptom. Could be a great tool in certain instances, but there may be a root cause that records can identify, such as a stress factor that triggers the problem. Another really valuable thing for records is looking over the fence, what I call looking over the fence, or comparing yourselves to what other people are doing. This is called benchmarking, and a benchmarking analysis could be made for all cost items in your operation, such as utilities, fuel, repairs, bedding, those kinds of things. Once these costs are recorded, and a lot of people have to do this for tax records anyway, then the cost of gain can be easily calculated and analyzed. Finding an advantage is something every pork producer should strive to do, because averages over a lifetime don't lead to success. We need to be able to be a little bit above average in areas in order to have a successful swine operation, and records are an important foundational element of identifying these advantages. So keeping your eye on the ball, making sure that you're choosing the right kinds of technology for the right kinds of systems. And traditional commodity systems, they concentrate on throughput, low cost, low margin, high volume kinds of systems in order to make a profit. Now, sustainable producers, on the other hand, need to focus on widening the margin, getting a higher price for their product, and still focusing on cost so they have more margin for fewer pigs to make their living. So hopefully you find a way to do things like these pigs that are trying to get at the straw on the other side of the fence. We need to find a way to get things done, work smarter rather than harder, and make your work for your advantage. And again, records are a good way to monitor and identify these ways to make your operation more successful. Records are especially critical to making the big decisions. How much money do you need to make a good living? How many pigs do you need? How much profit per pig are there? And keeping your expansion and purchases decisions in line with the size of your operation. A very small operation can't purchase a tractor and a loader and a skid steer and a livestock hauling trailer. But as you get bigger and you start adding these things in, you got to figure out to have a plan so that you add them in as you expand and kind of match your production and performance, and so your costs don't get out of line. Again, records are very important to benchmark these kinds of changes in your operation. If you don't have any records at all, the best place to start is very simple: enterprise records. You have to do a Schedule F for taxes, so you already have your totals of your feed bills and your vet bills and your supply bills and those kinds of bills all already totaled up for your accounting year. Usually that's a calendar year. And so in order to do an accrual kind of an enterprise record, you need to do an opening and closing inventory, and then you use the formula to calculate the pounds produced during the year. You start with your beginning weight, and you add in any purchased weight to that, and then you subtract from the ending weight and the sale weight to get your weight gain for the year. So you use the ending weight and sale weight minus the beginning weight and purchase weight to get your inventory for the year. There is software available at the Iowa Pork Industry Center. If you Google IPIC, Iowa State, or as you can see, the address for the software website is ipic.iastate.edu, and then you can click on. There's a button for software, and one of the best tools we have, or one of the nicest tools, is what we call Group Tracker, and this will analyze groups of pigs on feed. And so if you put 50, 100 pigs on feed and feed them out for the summer, you can total up all the expenses and performance, and it prints you out a group closeout at the end of the period. Other record systems that you should be aware of as a niche producer is the sow tracker, and sow tracker will basically allow for sow data entry and generates reports for reproductive traits, and it helps you start beginning to have computerized sow records, and these records are really pretty close to what the commercially available sow units can do, and so that'd be a excellent tool. And then for budgeting and profit projecting, there's a profit tracker, and so in addition to Group Tracker, you can see there are some good software options available through the Iowa Pork Industry Center.